Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Chris.
When I prospect in my time in the club, like the one thing that I really didn't want is I didn't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like that was a distraction. Like, I didn't bring girls with me to trips or, you know, I mean, I really didn't think that like going on those USA runs and stuff like that. I don't really think a girl on the back of your bike is some people do it. I just personally, I tried to avoid that because the one thing I think when I was a prospect or starting to hang around, the members of my charter were like, just stay away from them, right? You don't know who you're going to piss off. You don't know what that girl's story is. You know what I mean? You don't know nothing. And I didn't want to know, you
Did
know?
you see any girls causing problems within the charters? Maybe messing with one member and then going and messing with another member. This guy
Oh,
gets mad or things
yeah.
like that.
Well, like the girl that this dude showed up with, right? I mean, she'd probably been with everybody in Rockford. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow. I watched you and your old girlfriend get in a fist fight out in my house because whatever, like that wasn't the girl for him. You know what I mean? Like you needed the quiet church mouse that sat in the corner that didn't say anything because this girl was a construction worker and she was pretty cool, but you don't fall in love with that. You know what I mean? And they instantly fall in love. So like the girl thing, like, that just seemed like a distraction. Maybe later on or you know what I mean, like different things, but it was that was a distraction, you know. I mean, I we did when I was a member and a prospect, we would go to the Old Bridge Ranch. A member from Reno, his family or whatever owned it, and we used to go out there and to see those girls at the ranch or whatever. You could hook up with them if you wanted, but just there's so many. I think what I learned is there's so many different ways you could get put in a trick bag. And girls that hang around the club look like some of them could put you in a trick bag. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to get in a trick bag. I mean, I've done a lot of dumb things, but I was smarter than that, I think. And you could see like if dudes like their girl was stressing them out, it would it would get, you know what I mean? It would weigh heavy on your mind, you know? And I guess I looked at it as being in the club, you're going into battle. The last thing you need is dead weight dragging you around.
Do you think women have a big influence on the members of the club?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. In certain situations, at most definitely, you know? Um,
I
you
heard
know,
stories of a woman saying, well, if I was president,
yeah. I mean, sure, they say that. I'm sure like it got into the situation where like some of the people talk too much to their women or talk too much to anybody outside of the thing and that like stuff like that got back. That's not good. That's not good at all, or like, I mean, that dude that I was talking about, in my opinion, a woman was what got him out of the club. Like, he'd fall in love with them instantly. Like meet them first day, and next thing you know, you're giving them a ring on their finger. And that's not. And then on top of it, like we're riding in packs or whatever, like having a girl on the back of your bike, having that responsibility, that's a whole nother, you know.
talking with Pee Wee, he said he never used to ride a woman on the back because he didn't want to be responsible if he got into a crash or something. He said he's seen a lot of times where women got killed in crashes.
Yeah. I mean, and then the fact too, the one thing about being in the Hell's Angel is you better learn how to ride a motorcycle, because we rode fast, tire to tire, fast all the time, you know. And, I mean, riding a motorcycle across the country, you never know what can pop up, you know? And especially if you're in a big pack like that and you got people that want to shoot at you or whatever you want to do, you really want to be responsible for a girl now, you know? I mean, I've seen members ride with girls. Sonny would always have, I mean, a lot of times when I seen Sonny, he always had a girl with him.
Different one every time.
No, no, not really. I mean, I would see him in Sturgis or whatever. I'm trying to remember if Sonny came to my family's restaurant for dinner. A guy in Sturgis was making a beer, Sonny Barger beer, and they were brewing it down in New Glarus, Wisconsin. They were bottling it down there. And he did a book signing at the Harley shop down there in New Glarus. So he stayed the night in Madison, and then we went down there.
And that's outlaw country, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's not far from where the stuff happened. Like that's right on the state line between Rockford or Illinois and Wisconsin. When like the war was between like the outlaws in 94, 93, and all those outlaws went to prison in 97. I mean, even when I prospected, I would ride that ride every single time I went back and forth. You know what? And I wore my patch and I stood proud and nothing stopped me. Nothing at all. I wore it all the time.
So tell me about Sonny coming to the restaurant.
Sonny comes to the restaurant and Sonny was I was lucky, or I spent some time with him. Sonny was a good dude, right? Like I spent time with him in Sturgis at Pee Wee's shop and just like around. So we spent time. But when we came to the restaurant, he just like it was just like a normal thing. It was a little bit nerve wracking for me because at the end of the day, I was a member, but I'm still responsible for Sonny. You know what I mean? That's the chief, right? You can't, you know, you really had to have your head on. I had my head on the swivel and just, make sure that getting Sonny to and from all this stuff that was the only job, or that's what I took seriously as to do. And the crazy part about that is the dude that wore a wire on me, who told on me, who was a Hell's Angel also, his old lady got a new car. And he's like trying to talk the dude. He was trying to lean on the guy that Sonny came with from Minnesota and trying to put like a Hell's Angel lean on this dude that Sonny's going to have to ride in his car for security, right? And looking back at it, he probably wanted Sonny in his car because it was wired for sound. And I'm like, this dude's driving a brand new Infiniti Q56, brand new, and your girl's got this little shitty Jeep Cherokee. We're not riding in that car. You know what I mean? Use your brain for a second. You know what I mean? Like it's a comfortable ride, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was the dude telling on me. That was one of the.
He probably did have it wired up.
Oh, he had it wired for everything. And, thinking back at it, who knows what he had tapes on, wires on, but, you know, it's just crazy to think that, to me, for somebody to do that, like that just takes that takes it to a whole nother level. Like,
How
you know
long
what I
was
mean?
he a member for? And how long did you spend time with him while he cooperated against you?
He was like a member for 5 years. And he came from Reno because he had a child support debt in Wisconsin. And he had a kid that he never paid $1 of child support for. I mean, he wouldn't file his taxes because he didn't want to get a tax return to go towards his child support debt. I'm like, what does it matter? You're not getting it anyways, you know? And for telling on me, they washed it was $275,000. I think his daughter was like 24, and like with the interest and everything that he never paid. And Wisconsin was writing him up. So he was a member for like 5 years. He also lived in Wisconsin because that's where he had the kid at, and it was just ironic that when I went down to say I wanted to be a prospect, this dude was here. There was another dude from Rockford that his name was Doc that he had a tattoo shop in Wisconsin too. He was another dude. He's I think now he's like a minister, or I don't know what he is, but got in trouble. He said he was a doctor in the military. And what's funny about this story is somebody that when I went to federal prison, somebody knew him from federal prison, and he told people the same story, right? That he was a doctor and he had a honorable discharge. That's how he got the name Doc. He was like a truck driver in the military. Long story short, he ended up getting convicted of a girl who came to get like an X-ray or something at a hospital in Illinois, or I think it was in Illinois. I don't even want to for sure, but he ended up getting convicted on that. Like once he became a Hell's Angel, it opened up the red flag and reopened up that investigation.
Wow, did they end up getting him for that? Arresting him for that?
Yeah, yeah, and like I mean, I thought he was a good dude, but yeah, they ended up arresting him, and you know, he was the guy that Pee Wee gave me the number to when I went to Rockford to first become a member, and he introduced me to the other guy who wore the wire on me. And the thing about the guy that wore the wire on me, like he held my while I pissed after I got stabbed. You know?
He fought with you, didn't you? Didn't he side by side with
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, he fought. I mean, I don't think he really had a choice, but he got his head kicked in that bar, right? And he didn't have no choice for that. But yeah, he fought with me, and his in was, because it was like it almost felt like it was a divided thing. There was me and another guy who prospected up here in Wisconsin, and he was in Wisconsin, and we would ride together all the time, right? We would ride together, and he didn't live where we were at. He lived over in Lake Mills. I got his girlfriend alone through my banker. You know what I mean? Like I just like I can't even. I mean, if that's what he had to do, he could have just came to me and said, "Dude, they're asking me to do this, right? They're asking me to do this," and
Maybe he thought you would have outed him.
I would have told him, I'm like, "Dude, you can't do that," you know. And like looking back on the situation, he would drop like subtle hints. Yeah, if I wasn't such a high rate, like he made himself really self-important, I would just get out if it was that easy, and I should have listened along the way. And what's crazy is my mom, who is not in this lifestyle, told me that he was a rat, and I didn't want to believe her. I should have listened.
Like, there's no way, right?
Yeah. And I remember the first time. When we went to that book signing, I had broke my ankle coming back from Cleveland, and my bike was in Rockford. And the Rockford brought it to the book signing, and somehow I got it back and wrote it back, or he wrote it back for me. Maybe it wasn't that time, but one of the setups to wear a wire is when he brought my motorcycle back to me.
Wow.
And he was a truck driver. He'd always say, "Yeah, well, the outlaws are here and this and that," and I was just like, oh, and I was in it, so I was blind. But I remember when he brought my motorcycle back, he had a beard and all this stuff, and he shaved his beard off. And I was sitting outside of my house, and I looked at him. I'm like, this dude just looks sick. Something didn't look right. And I didn't. And like looking back at it, I should have just trusted my gut then.